Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Grey's Anatomy Season 17, Episodes 1 and 2 review. I don't think we could have prepared ourselves for what we actually got in these episodes.
No, it was dark, it was bleak, and then there was like a legitimate shocker at the end of all of this. So there are spoilers ahead, guys. Spoilers ahead.
They promoted these episodes like there was something really big happening, but I thought in my gut and in my heart and in every other random organ that I have that it was going to end with, okay, someone's gonna maybe get killed off. Maybe they'll make us think somebody's gonna get killed off. Never, in even my craziest dreams, my biggest tinfoil hat moments, did I think that Patrick Dempsey, of all people, was gonna come back on this show.
It was shocking. It was needed. I'm very happy for this.
I'm very happy. We'll talk about other things in these episodes, but like, we gotta talk a lot about that. How do you not? I almost fell out of my chair last night.
No kidding.
Before we do get into it at all, if you guys do like this video, just remember to subscribe to the channel. We love talking about Grey's with you guys. It is the best way to make sure you don't miss any other coverage we've got coming up.
And so we've seen in the comments, you guys were kind of like, where is the recap from last night? Where is your review last night? And why are we putting it up now? And so I'll give you a little bit on why that happened. So that this episode last night was bleak. It was dark, and it was dealing with the health crisis. And after watching the first hour, like, I knew that this is what the show was going to be about. They have said that that was what it was going to be about. And this is Grey's Anatomy. So like, they were perfectly set up to give us a behind the curtains look at how hard it was for the doctors and nurses that have been going through all of this. But for me, while I was watching it, like I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, my life has also been affected by the health crisis. My grandmother passed away during this, not of the virus, but it was like adjacent to it. She had Alzheimer's. She had it for a long time. She was in a nursing home, and she was doing really great. And I have a huge family, like even just grandchildren, grandchildren. There are 20 of us. So there was always people going there for the past 5 years, every single day, playing games with her, watching TV with her, having dinner with her every day. Then the health crisis hit and they shut it down. And when they shut it down and we weren't allowed to go in there anymore, within 2 weeks, she was gone. She stopped eating, she stopped talking, she stopped everything, and she died. So as I was watching this last night, I was just being brought back into all of that. And I mean, there's a lot of burnout from this health crisis, but this is Grey's Anatomy, like I said, so there was no way not to get into it. But because that was happening at the end of the first hour, I turned around. I was like, I can't watch any more of this right now. Like, I am in just the worst headspace for it. And I wasn't going to be able to come on here and talk to you guys properly.
It was painful. Like, that it's hard to really think about it in, any other terms. And I think it's important that you are coming on here and speaking towards this, because I think this is the part of this crisis that we're all in, that, this affects people who have the virus. This affects people who don't have the virus but are still hospitalized and need other treatment. I'm sure that's something we're going to see kind of across a lot of the medical shows that are out there, but it is difficult. TV is our job and we watch a lot of TV. And
yes, we do.
There is that necessity, right, of, okay, for a lot of shows, I understand them wanting to take this on, especially medical dramas, but, the more that you watch, the harder it is, because the more you've been sort of living within your own reality. In Grey's Anatomy, even though they deal with, people dying a lot, it's an escape for a lot of people.
Yeah, and this episode was not an escape for anyone. We were all really brought into it on it. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that were watching and having a hard time too.
Yeah, and I mean, our hearts go out to you. I know that in a lot of ways, Grey's, and I think this is really why we got this big Patrick Dempsey reveal at the end of the episode, is from what I've sort of seen, I know there was a big interview with Deadline about a lot of it, where Ellen Pompeo, Krista Vernoff, the showrunner, and Patrick, where they all sort of came together in various ways and was just like, 2020 really sucks. Like, let's just give everyone something to be happy about, even if it's just, a small scene this week and maybe like a little bit more next week. I'm just so happy that Patrick agreed to do this.
I'm really happy he did as well. This is obviously a relationship that's very beloved in the community, and I never thought I was going to see him back on the show. I didn't know how they were going to do it. And we ended up in this situation with this episode where Meredith is collapsed at the end of it, which again, we have another sort of like, oh my God, what's going to happen? And she's in such a situation that she's, seeing him who has passed away. So it does give pause to like, what is really happening? Like, where is she that she's seeing him?
And I think the other question here is, what exactly is even going on with Meredith? Because, it might very well be the virus. It might be something else that's happening.
Might be exhaustion.
Yeah, like they haven't really specified exactly what she is going through. But I do sort of love that all the imaging they even chose for this scene, because like how many of us all kind of collectively miss the beach? Like I know we really, really miss the beach.
Yeah, we are not that far from the beach, and we haven't been since March. We had one of our best friends out, and we took him to the beach, and that's the last time we saw the ocean. and it sucks for many reasons, obviously, but yeah, it's tough. So seeing that scene, seeing the beach, I was just like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, like it was so scenic, it was so beautiful. Like, I don't know why, but I'm always a big fan of like the dudes who got like the button up and like the khakis with the sleeves on the khakis rolled up, the pant legs. Like it just, everything about it, the wardrobe, the lighting, the seeing the two of them, like it all worked. It just like punched me right in the heart and just be like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that once I found out that had happened and I had quit after the first hour, I was like, oh man, the payoff was like so good, and I was like, oh man, I really missed that. So yeah, we're back to talk about today. I had to woke up, good night's sleep, woke up, watched it.
I was in denial for about 30 seconds after it happened. Like, I still thought that maybe, like, I don't know, some, like, wizardry from Krista or Shonda, they had figured out a way to, like, create a Patrick Dempsey hologram that was somehow in there. I did not know. But, the thing is that moment, it's so big that it almost makes you forget about all the other stuff. Like, oh yeah, Owen and Teddy's relationship is just totally in shambles now.
No, and it totally makes sense that it is. And I really love what they did with these two episodes to sort of have, here we are in the present, and then sort of like a rewind of sort of what you missed as we're moving into it. Because they threw us just straight into the crisis. So we did miss sort of like what was going on right before then. So it was nice to sort of have that rewind to see like, Owen gave her multiple opportunities to come clean to him, and she didn't, and she didn't, and she didn't, and that was it.
I think it was important to show the progression. I think it's important to show, Owen's anger at the end of it, because, justifiably, he's going to be mad in this situation. And, I'm sure there's certainly a lot of people out there that still hope that they're going to find a way to get through it, and maybe they will, maybe they won't, but Owen's got to be mad for a while. Like, I don't know how that changes.
And I was glad that there was consequences for Tom as well, because he is in a position of power at this hospital. He can't just be doing stuff like that. I mean, people are coming to him as a superior, as someone that they look up to. He is, well respected, that he, got demoted. And it was a very sort of telling scene when he was like, I can get a job anywhere, here, take this back. And, Catherine's just like, yeah, you think you can get a job anywhere, but word travels of what you've done. So just take your past back and be lucky that we're giving you a break.
Tom had some good material in this episode for sure. I mean, I think it was good that there were consequences there. My favorite, just ridiculous moment was him attacking the boxes with the golf club or something. And I totally get it, because he's trying to do this really, really serious thing, and then it doesn't work out, and he just has like a full stage meltdown.
Yeah, and we've all seen through the news of how PPE gear is just so scarce. So like to get it coming in, it's like, it's like gold that's coming in. And then all of a sudden it's all booties and there's no actual masks, there's no gowns, there's no nothing else. So I get his frustration where he finally thought, okay, I finally am able to do something for everyone, and I botched this up too.
Probably my favorite storyline of this episode was the DeLuca stuff, just because I feel like they did a good job of, I mean, they've always done a good job of illuminating mental health, but also just that, we're all dealing with like the worst health crisis in a lot of our lives, but there are other things that are still going on, and I think for a lot of people, mental health is certainly worse now after we've all been sort of locked up for months on end, but they showed him getting better, and they showed him going through it, and having his own fair share of troubles, but thanking Meredith for helping to save him. And I just love the scene when Meredith is struggling in the different timeline. There DeLuca is recognizing everything that she did for him in turn.
And so we ended with them where he used the word friendship. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's all she is. But I was actually really glad that he used that word in general, because when you're with somebody, you're also friends with that person. It's important to have that friendship there as well. So it was nice that he was able to be like, your friendship means a lot to me. You're my friend. Now I'm your friend. I'm here as a friend, as part of the bigger relationship. So we'll sort of see where it all goes. I mean, it's hard to know.
I'm just glad it doesn't attach labels. It doesn't attach pressure to anything. I mean, we certainly know they're going through enough as it is. Like, they don't need to throw, like, a will they or won't they on top of, like, just constant sadness and despair all over the place.
Yeah, because they also had Cormac asking her to come in for a drink again, which she, again, just didn't respond to, where she was like, no, I'm going to take on another shift.
Yeah, and a time like this, like, a lot of this stuff just has to be put on the back burner a little bit, unless you are probably the other biggest surprise of this entire episode, Joe and Jackson. Did anyone out there have this on your, like, dream board entering the season?
No, I didn't, but I actually was really happy that they did something like this, because the way that they've kind of just moved on from everything that happened with Joe and Alex, and it was just kind of like, she had a little bit of, anger, and then ate some ice cream and then got over it. And I was just like, this was her marriage, and the way that it ended was awful. So it was nice to see her kind of get to the spot where she's like, listen, I need this moment, and I need it from you. You're my friend. I trust you. You'll help me get over this bridge so that I can just move on in my life. And to see them like have that kiss and she's crying in his mouth, I was like, here's the breakdown that finally needed to come. She's out of the denial. She's into the dealing with it. That's awesome. That's what I want to see. I want to see her deal with it so she can heal and then she can move forward.
I have a lot of different opinions about all of it. I think from the Joe standpoint, I'm totally on board with you. I think it is a great storyline for her to have. It's a chance for her to really just sort of find some way to move forward properly, even if it is messy, even if there are awkward moments, but she gets to the point where she cries and she deals with a lot of what she's going through. And I think where it gets trickier for me is that I think over the past year and a half, all they have Jackson doing are various romantic storylines for different people. And I'm just like, can we get Jackson doing something else? But then I really tried to think about it. I was like, okay, who else could they have paired up with Joe in this situation? Because Owen's got everything with Teddy right now. Cormac, she doesn't really know Cormac. Link and Amelia just had a baby. There's not really a lot of other male characters that kind of fit the bill of what she could have needed.
I will say that I like that Jackson went all out and had cheese trays and wine. She's like, oh my goodness, this is like a date. And I like that he put the respect into it, because that to me showed me that she really is his friend,
Yeah.
and that she really is someone that he respects, and that she respects him, and that there's a respect to it, that it wasn't just, oh, come on over and let's do this. It was like, hey, let's try to make this as comfortable as we can. You're not here just for this. Let's also do this. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, I thought so too, and I appreciate that, because I've been mad at Jackson here and there over time, such as his "I'm going on a giant hike for a long time and you can just deal with it, Maggie,"
Yeah.
which is kind of what that felt like. Good for Maggie, by the way, getting a new love interest who's willing to build her a tent.
That was nice.
These are the moments that we have, I think, to get through all the just sadness within these episodes.
Yeah, it was nice to sort of see that you can still have a long distance relationship or a socially distanced relationship.
Yeah.
Of course, they're long distance as well, but that you can still do stuff for people. It's sort of it's a nice way to remind us that just because we're all kind of locked down and stuff, that there are ways to still show that you care, that you love, that you want to give to somebody. I thought that was really nice.
Speaking of things that are really nice, can we just say briefly, Scout Derek Shepard like this? That I thought, okay, I was like, okay, that's Grey's Anatomy honoring Derek. I'm sure we'll never see Patrick Dempsey again, so I will take this baby name and it will fill my heart with joy.
I love that they ended up coming full circle back to Scout again. Them like trying to like give names and just like see what the reaction is, and they were like, "Oh, Gabriel Lincoln." No, not Gabe Lincoln.
Yeah, that was funny. I think Grey's did a pretty good job with these two episodes. I still have massive bones to pick with ABC hyping up the Station 19 Grey's Anatomy crossover premiere. Like, the crossover was just complete nonsense. It was just like people who were burned, and then that was just kind of it.
I was also really glad to see everything with Richard and Catherine kind of come around. I mean, I was really mad at Catherine last season. Her buying the hospital and sort of dismantling it and all of that was like just such a angry power move that I was like, oh man, that is going to be some nonsense. It's going to be very hard to forgive, very hard to walk back. But, it was nice to see everybody sort of come in and Jackson have that talk with Richard to be like, listen, man, you did some stuff, she did some stuff, but when she loves you really fiercely. And so you have to take this other stuff with it to get the good stuff, which is every relationship. So I have been wanting to see them get back together. So it was kind of nice to see that come back together a little bit when she offered him that job.
Did you love Richard's room full of masks?
I did. That was cool.
They played that up. They're like, it was like the sacred room and they had like the special lighting. These were the most sacred masks I have seen on television.
Yeah, the like UV ray mask. No, that was really cool.
I like the premiere a good bit. Like we've said, it's difficult with a lot of these shows right now that are taking on some of this stuff first and foremost because it's affecting all of us. I'm glad there's still a little bit of that, Grey's Anatomy charm and lightness here and there. I'm sure it will come out more and more as this season progresses. But really, I know everyone is just talking about Derek right now. Like, it's hard not to.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such sort of a bittersweet feeling because it's like, oh, I'm so happy he's back. Hopefully we're gonna get something else, a hug, a kiss, and anything. I'll take it, even if it's in a dream world. But then that's where it comes in, where it's like, this isn't real. So I gotta keep sort of pinching myself to be like, this is temporary. We don't get him back.
No, and I just hope Meredith's okay. I'm sure they're not killing off Meredith Grey. I don't know what sort of show this would be.
No, especially not in the premiere. That's not gonna happen.
No. But, what did you guys think about all of this? Give us your favorite moments, the moments you choked up the most, your thoughts on Derek's return, all this good stuff in the comments. And of course, if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further, check those links to the store, as well as our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.